So based on everything we've heard about what those infractions are, what the allegations are, what's been proven thus far, but what has yet to be revealed, where do you think this is headed? What could you kind of forecast in regards to how severe this could turn out to be?
It's funny. There's people on both sides of the fence. Some people say, wow, Freeze resigning, that's really going to help Ole Miss when they go in front of the Committee on Infractions, that they're no longer standing by the guy that the NCAA was, out to get. There are other people who've said it ain't going to matter because in Ole Miss's response to the notice of allegations, everything that they said, they were behind Freeze and behind their process. So it's not like you can really go in now and say, oh, he's a this or that, and, we didn't mean that. So I think the most interesting thing to me is, and you and I talked about this earlier, is the Mississippi State linebacker Leo Lewis has been asked by the Committee on Infractions to appear at the hearing. And I think that's incredibly interesting, and I'm trying to research how many times that's ever happened before where a student athlete is asked to appear. He was granted limited immunity by the NCAA, so he could risk losing his limited immunity if he does not appear. I'm not saying that they would take it away, but they would have the power to take it away. So there's a lot that's going into that. I think that perhaps with Freeze gone, if the committee can separate maybe in their mind Hugh Freeze and Ole Miss, if that's even possible, I could see Ole Miss just leaving with the one-year bowl ban. I think they'll probably have some additional scholarships revoked. But when you get into that area of adding on bowl ban years, and then you open the door for, like if it's a 2-year bowl ban, then juniors and seniors could transfer with a waiver and not have to sit out a year someplace else. If it's an additional year, 3 years, then I think sophomores are eligible. Although, too, at any point, it sounds like the NCAA can do whatever they want. They could literally come in, like a Penn State and just say, y'all get waivers, waiver for everybody. So, it's hard to know, but I do think, I don't look for there to be an additional year of bowl ban. I don't know why. That's just my gut feeling. I'm hoping perhaps they've realized, and everybody talks about death penalty. I kind of feel like Ole Miss has had a slow death penalty. This has gone on for so long, and there's starting to be more and more questions about the procedure, the process that's gone on, and how it's, maybe there have been some questionable tactics here and there. So I think probably it's in everybody's best interest for it just to end.
You brought up Penn State. I'm not going to relate the crimes, or there is no comparison there. So I'm not making that comparison. I'll make the comparison to the potential impact to the football program. And at that time, I was in the boat with most people that it was going to be devastating for Penn State. Why would top athletes, top football players want to go to Penn State when you're that good, you can go a number of places? So I've heard the same comments made about Ole Miss, and it would seem rather reasonable to come to that conclusion. If you're good enough to play football at Ole Miss, then you're good enough to play at a number of other places where you don't have to worry about what's hanging over the program's collective head. But that's why you want to have this decision come down as soon as possible, so the coaches and the coaching staff knows what it's dealing with, and it's all out, it's all settled, it's all done, and recruited players can know what they need to face. The Penn State situation was horrible, and again, I'm not even talking about what happened. I'm talking about the infractions and the punishment, and it didn't turn out to be devastating. They didn't even have a losing season during that time. They were able to recover quickly, and of course the NCAA then had a level of mercy on them a couple of years later, but they weathered it very, very well against difficult competition on the field. So if this conclusion can come soon, I think it can be not easily recovered from, because there's going to be, for a short period of time, some type of stigma. But that person that's in the center of that stigma, he's been removed. Hugh Freeze is gone. So I think this thing can turn around fairly quickly.
I hope so, because, you know, I think that the timing of it is, I think the NCAA released their response to Ole Miss's response to the notice of allegations last week. York City had it. They haven't released it. I think it could be any minute now. It's probably while I'm on air with you. But they weren't releasing it until they redacted, you know, the names that needed to be redacted out of it. But the theory is that, you know, everybody says that what it says basically is the NCAA is pretty much throwing out Ole Miss's response. We're still sticking by our, you know, our assessment of things, and Ole Miss is digging in with theirs. So we'll go to the Committee on Infractions. And I think that the prevailing thought is that that will take place probably mid to late September into October, but I think most people probably think it's that bye week between Cal and Alabama. And then the committee has 90 days to, you know, reach their quote unquote verdict, so to speak. So, I mean, we could be talking about after the signing period. So you're right. I mean, I think one would hope that maybe they wouldn't take the full 90 days, but you know, I don't know enough about NCAA procedures to know how frequently they, you know, they run it out to the full time limit or not. But so I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know how. If you're a head coach out there and you want to look at the Ole Miss job, I don't even know how you even consider taking a job that you don't know what you're getting into. So it's there, you know, there's just a lot of questions out there. And I think, like you say, I think everybody's just hoping for a swift end to something that has just been a drip, 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 you know.
Yeah, you only take that job if the job's over your head and you have not the qualifications to get that job. And of course, Ole Miss doesn't want that for their next football coach.
Right.
All right, Ole Miss Evie, that's what we call her on Twitter, is because she is in line with the Ole Miss football program in particular and athletics across the board. So Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk, you got to join her there and the rest of the staff for the best in Ole Miss football coverage as we head toward 2017. And Evie, the next time we talk, we are talking field, talking Rebels.
Okay. I look forward to it.
All right, Evie, you have a great day. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.